What's going on, folks? It's your boy Himbo here, or the Illery, hitting y'all with a quick little comparison video to the Zero Hawk EM1 and my Holosun EPS Carry. Let's get into it real quick. So starting off, I have my Holosun EPS Carry. This is the first red dot, or actually green dot optic that I bought. We are dealing with a clear firearm, by the way, safe direction. But this is the first optic that I ever bought as soon as I started buying firearms. This was my everyday carry for over a year. I still carry it from time to time, but I have moved on to other options. But this thing is perfect. Like, this is probably my favorite pistol optic that I own. So, it's the EM1 has a tall task to fill when it comes to this type of optic. Right here, we have the EM1 on my Glock 27X. I have about 400 rounds through this thing. I'm not quite ready to give a full review on this because I don't have the rounds through it. We are empty and clear, by the way, YouTube. Safe direction. Let's get a quick side by side. I don't know if you all can pick this up on the camera, but the EM1 does have a bit bigger window on it. Not very much bigger than the EPS Carry, but that is one thing to know. You know what I mean? And I have multiple reticle options on this version of the EM1 than I have on this version of the EPS Carry. I just have a dot, no 32 MOA or nothing like that. But, you know what I mean? Both are a very good enclosed optic option. When it comes to price, this EM1 is going to come in at probably about half the value of the EPS Carry. You're going to spend about less than 200 fun tickets for this. You're going to spend a little less than 400 fun tickets for this. So at half of the price, for somebody that's just entering the enclosed emitter optic, pistol optic, this might be a great choice. Now, when it comes down to the Holosun, you got years of proven reliability. It's trusted by thousands of concealed carriers and widely used by law enforcement and competitive shooters. And some of the cons with this is that you got to pay that premium price, and it's popular enough that where you might run into some counterfeits if you're not buying from a reputable source. Now with the Zero Hawk here, this is a newer company trying to build a name for themselves, so you're going to get the competitive pricing, good feature set for the money, but they don't have the years of real world data, and long-term durability is yet to be determined. So the Holosun has already earned trust, and Zero Hawk is in the process of trying to earn trust. But that's not a bad thing. So for me, the Holosun EPS Carry has already earned my trust. I have no issues with this thing. This Zero Hawk EM1, I'm still trying to figure it out. I haven't had any reliability issues with it. It's still holding zero. I have about 400 rounds through it. I have no gripes with the functionality of the optic, but there has been some concerns. So far, this EM1, it feels solid. The controls are easy to use. It has a nice window. The dot, I wouldn't call it exactly crisp. When it's just on the dot by itself, it is a crisp dot. When it's on the circle or the circle dot, it's not as crispy as just the regular dot by itself. I'm not saying it looks bad. I'm not saying it's nothing I can't work around, but that's just something that I've noticed. The circle and the circle with the dot on the inside, it's a little more blurry than when it's just the dot to me. So another thing that I've noticed, this is totally cosmetic and not functional, is the finish is already starting to show some wear. Like I said before, I only have about 400 rounds through this. Hopefully that can come across on the camera. But you can see that finish starting to show some wear on here. Didn't mean to flag y'all, but I promise the weapon is still empty and bullets can't go through the camera. That doesn't mean my EPS carry doesn't have wear, but like I said, mind y'all, I have carried this thing every day carried it for a full year, without any type of rotation or anything like that. But I probably stopped counting at like 6,000, 6,500 rounds with this thing, but it's still showing very durable. Just minor stuff from taking it in and out of the holster and walking around with it every day. I've had this thing for a few weeks, and that's what you get. So, you know, you do with that information what you want. I still feel like this dot is a reliable dot if you're just focusing on the dot. But if you're the one that wants to focus on the cosmetics, just keep that in mind. This is their FDE version, so it could just be something with the Cerakote. So maybe Zero Hawk might want to, go back into the lab when it comes to the finish of their Cerakoted dots. You know what I mean? That's just a suggestion on my behalf. So the only reason I wanted to do this comparison video is because this optic, the Zero Hawk EM1 and Holosun EPS Carry, look very similar. Like if I had to take an educated guess, I would say that this optic was inspired by this optic. And there's nothing wrong with that because this is a great optic. And if you want to build something that the people want, yeah, go ahead. But like I said, man, this isn't a bad review. This isn't even a full review on this optic. This is just a comparison. You know what I mean? Outside of the finish issues and the dot not being as crisp, this thing functions. It functions well. Like I said, I only have about 400 rounds to it. I want to get a few more 100 rounds to it before I give it a full review. But so far, I am happy that they sent this out to me. And I am very thankful and grateful that they sent it out to me. But here on Art of Illery, we just got to keep it real. I hope I'm not offending the folks over there at EM1 or Zero Hawk. This is not intended for that. I'm still going to give this thing a fair shot, but I have to let my viewers know the things that I've encountered so far. So at the end of the day, man, if you're trying to get into the closed emitter optics and you don't want to spend Holosun money, I feel like this is a very good option. You okay with adopting an early platform. Now, I did forget to mention, or I may not have forgot to mention, that this does have multiple reticle options. This version of the EPS Carry that I own does not, although they do have versions of this optic that do have multiple reticle options. But if you're okay and you don't want to spend that double the money for an enclosed emitter, I would say go this route. I have my gripes with the finish or anything like that, but like I said, that's not a functionality thing. That's a cosmetic thing, and they do make this in a black version. So I'm pretty sure the finish issues are with the FDE version because it is Cerakoted. You got this big 40 cal blast coming up out of this thing, creating a big spark right there. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? So at this current moment, if I was going to buy an optic today with my own money, I would still go and buy the Holosun EPS Carry. But that doesn't mean I do not like this. This thing has held zero. It's done what it's needed to do. You know what I mean? I feel like it's a great option. So I'm not done with this thing. Like, I haven't done a full review. I feel like I'd be doing Zero Hawk and the EM1 a disservice if I just took their optic from them that they sent out to me and I got on here and I just started singing their praise immediately. That's not the type of guy I am. I want to get multiple hundreds of rounds through this thing before I can give my honest review on how I think it holds up. I've never given a review on this, not because they didn't send me one, but it's just because I had to make sure my stuff works. And you'll notice that about me. Anything that I have in my possession and I put on a firearm that I plan on using to defend myself or using for any purpose, I want to make sure it works before I just go out there and start singing praises. So I hope the people over at Zero Hawk understand that. And like I said, I really do appreciate y'all for sending this out to me. I will get more rounds through this and I will give you the proper review that you deserve. But for now, this is your boy Himbo, Art of Illery. Remember, God didn't give us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of sound mind. Y'all have a blessed day.